Welcome to the video. The gang is all here. How's everybody doing? Sunday evening. We had a beautiful day today. It got, it was about 60, sunny. We had some rain and the weather changed. My mom brought me some lemons, which, you know, the orange I had was good, but the lemon, man, does that cut through. Gives you that burn, and it's just wonderful. I should have gone to the store a long time ago, but the oranges were working for me. We went to the thrift store. Well, first of all, the dumpster I showed y'all, and y'all were with me live. I couldn't believe it when I discovered that there was a camera. I'm not going to worry about it. You know, they got to have a camera back there. They're stepping it up a notch, I can tell. They've kind of sent that one manager home, and the other ladies are taking over with the main lady. It's a charity in the East Texas area, and the main lady manages several shops in these little East Texas towns. And so they're making changes. Now I know that people donate back there, and so when the doorbell rings, you want to be able to see who's back there. I told you one time, that competition that drives the truck, he wanted to talk to the ladies. He told me they ran him off for a while because he said, well, they weren't answering the door, and I knew they was in there, so I just let myself in. Can you imagine you're in there 5 o'clock in the afternoon, nobody around, little mini strip mall, and you look up and here's this guy? He looks like Wayne on Saturday Night Live, but hardly any teeth. Bald with a cap, but his hair's long to his shoulders. He was probably decent looking in the day because he's got dark hair and blue eyes, a really nice straight nose. But he's had a rough life. I'm not judging him. I'm just saying, you don't open the door and let yourself in I mean, that's just, wow. He told me they ran me off. And then when the mean one left, he got to kind of come back because the nice one, you know, needs help, him coming up there and helping her with the heavy stuff. But things are changing over there. And you know what? I'm not going to worry about it. Also, on that back area, that's where they take their donations. And if they're closed, people just pile them up and, you know, they get stolen in the night. I really don't think they're worrying about me. I'm sure that camera's been there a couple weeks and no cops have pulled up. But, and one night, the bike guy was inside the dumpster, and I was watching from the other side because I have to wait for the ladies to leave, and I saw he was in there, and their vehicles were back there, and I'm like, man, he is just bold, you know. Of course, he's a felon. He's just not afraid of too much. Gotta drink the tea while it's hot. It's just so good. Local honey. My mom got me fresh local honey again from the farmer's market. And this is the first time I've had the lemon. Oh my gosh. Next time I'm doing that. Yeah, the wind's blowing. It's getting cold. We're all in for the night. The birds are fed. I even fed some cardinals. Got the sunflower seeds out. Gave the squirrels what they needed, so everybody's ready. Covered a few of the plants and brought in the Christmas cacti. So anyway, where was I? So he was in the dumpster with his bike there, and they came out and got in their cars and drove off. And when they left, I went over there and talked to him, and I said, you know, hey, what's up or whatever, which I don't approach him very often because it's, you know, it's not safe. But he doesn't bother me. I just have to be very wary. And plus, he's in the dumpster. If he jumps out, I'm going to get in the car. But he said, yeah, I was in here, and oh, they never said anything. I said, well, that's good. So, you know, it benefits them. You saw it today. They get trash pickup on Tuesday, and so you saw how empty it is. So it benefits them because otherwise they'd probably have to pay the city 2 or 3 times a week as much stuff as they throw out. So I'm just not going to worry about it. I go, you know, go when they're gone. Hi, I'm in here talking to the camera. Come here, Mika. Come on. Come on, baby. She's like, she misses her mom, you know. Her mom will be back in a few days. Her other mom. They're very close. So she probably thought I was in here talking to her. Did you think I was talking to your mommy? Love her. And so, where was was I at? Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Anyway, we're not their top priority, so I'm not going to worry about it. Worst thing that happens is, the cops show up and say, we got your license plate on the thing, and, here's your trespassing, whatever. And $2,000 fine. I don't think that's going to happen. But I'm just going to keep doing what I've been doing. So, down there at the bottle recycle, it was magic today, y'all. We ended up going down there, and right when I got there, I was going to make it nice and neat and put it in boxes, and the Pentecostal couple pulled up. And I'm not trying to offend anybody. They're just cute. The lady, has her hair all piled up. And remember those two little dolls I had? And I really wanted to get them to somebody. They remind me of her. Now she's going to jump in the paper. They remind me of her. Cute little country lady with a lot of hair and sweet, And I really wanted them to get to somebody, so I'm sure she got them. Because I just unloaded like 3 or 4 bags of stuff. A whole bag of hardware. Even the park stuff went there because the park was muddy. So the craft lot went there, and she told me a while ago that her daughter's newly married, and they're always needing stuff, and they got kids, and she's like, do you mind if I take this? When I first met her, I'm like, no ma'am, this is all for whoever would like it, please do. So I just set it down and drove off. Then I went to the John's thrift store, and went to the John's thrift store. I'll show you what I got there. And 45 minutes later, I swung back through because I don't want to leave a mess. And they had gone through everything and left a few things. And they were still there. And the man, she drives him. I think he's probably had a stroke, And he likes to go down there every day and look at the liquor bottles and take bottles home. And he told me one time, I'll make sure and cap these bottle tops because we can't have no skeeters in here. That fills up with water, and then you get skeeters everywhere, mosquitoes. And I'm like, that's smart. Yes, sir, because you don't want standing water around this part of the country. Mosquitoes are bad. We have West Nile virus here recently in the last few years. It's bad. So, he likes to find his bottles, and he said sometimes I'll bring some back when I get tired of them and get me some more. And so they made a haul, but the look on his face when he was, lifting some of the bags, it was just that determined and not happy. It was just because he's, I think, too ill to be like happy and smiling, but just that deep satisfaction and determination. And he was putting it in the truck, and she had gone through it. That was their little project. So I left there. When I came back an hour later, the bottle people were there. The volunteers had all gone there with their trailers and everything they do. They sort through all of it and clean it all up. And so whatever was left, they just throw away, which is fine because I don't want a mess to get the city upset at me. Who keeps leaving this stuff? But the fabric, y'all, she got all the fabric. I saw it, and that's not all the fabric, but the fabric, the bedding. It was goldenrod sheets. I'm just not going to bring bedding into the house for obvious reasons. Goldenrod sheets, they were so cool, from the 70s, I guess, and clean, but I'm not going to be messing with that stuff. So, wonderful for her. And, maybe they probably know a lot of people. I'm sure they're active in a church. And I'm not saying they don't have money. They might have a lot of money, but they like to find things, that couple. Okay, the other thing while I'm thinking about it is I've been making a couple of playlists. Some of them are jewelry. One of them I just put on today is 4 years ago I had a garage sale. And you can see kind of the setup and then the money I made. And I'm not ever doing that again because ends up you get crazy people fighting over knives. I mean, crazy people come up in your yard, and if something happens, you're done. You're sued, you're done. So I'm not doing that anymore. I didn't realize it. That's why I don't have garage sales. But it was fun that one time. And that's when I sold like some bags of the jewelry that I say I have a regret, but let it go, And another playlist I'm starting is if I appear on there talking a little bit, I just have one video. But there's another one of me drinking coffee. I can't find it. where I dove a coffee thing, and it's like a camping thing, and we tried it in the kitchen, and then I sampled it, and it's really good. And I'm going to try to find that and put it on there. Of course, I'm younger, 4 years younger, and, you know, but if you want to put a voice to a face, because I don't pop on very often, then go check out the playlist. There's at least one, and the one with me on there, I think you have to go halfway through the video or something, you know, or you can watch the dumpster find, because I'm going through a bag. Alright, so today I also saw this blue driving through the downtown. This says Joy. So then I got out and walked around the little square. These people, these are the two, you know, other than the big square rocks, these people are really good. And I just like it. It's like blues. And then this Hope. So that's nice. I'll probably rehide these two. And I tend to keep this lady. So I put on there, I found them, which is nice. Okay, the thrift store, John. So finally I see him. I'm going to close these blinds. I'd been going in there and he had been off. A couple of days he went to a wedding. And he was telling me it was a wedding of his sister-in-law's father got remarried. So that's kind of cool. I'm like, well, good. Many blessings to the newlyweds and all that. And I said, John, I haven't seen you. He said, well, blah, blah, blah. And then I said, how are you? He said, it was a massacre in here. That's how he called it. He said, when I'm gone, this place just falls apart. He said, it was literally a massacre when I got back. I said, oh my God, John, I'm so sorry. I know you got to be here. He's the assistant manager, and he's so sweet. If I could ever get him on camera, y'all would enjoy him. He's Scandinavian descent, you know, American, but Scandinavian descent. Red-headed, kind of strawberry blonde hair. He dresses very dapper when he feels like it, but today it was just a t-shirt, hanging out, slugging around, moving stuff, giving keys to people for the bathroom, sweating, you know. And then he's got the little girls putting stuff on the shelves and all and sorting through. So he's nice. But he said, he always calls me by my last name, Miss So-and-so, and he's so polite. And I bought some things, and he, you know, they don't have the bags of jewelry right now, and I've quit asking. I only asked like twice. I've never asked him. I don't want to bug him. I asked like the people lower on the totem pole just to see if they'll gossip with me. Give me information on the new jewelry lady that's been doing it for 6 months. Well, I picked this up. I just realized she's broken. It was a last minute thing when I saw her, but and I spent $21, which normally I do not. But that's the only part is the tiara. I don't know if she's marked under there. And they're pricey in there, but whatever. Don't you think somebody would like that? I mean, it's bad, but it's on the back. Of course, I'll disclose that in the listing. So she needs to go on Etsy. I'm a sucker for a jug, you know. Not super old and not marked and too expensive, but maybe 17 shipped. It's really nice. It's satisfying to hold. I need to turn on this overhead light. It's like once I go in there and buy one thing, then I go around and get the stuff that I had my eye on, you know. And I wasn't going to buy anything until the outhouse pictures. And then I went back and got the mug. It's really nice. It's handmade, you know. Just a little souvenir deal. And then these are appealing. Of course, I prayed up for them. $3, $99, $1.99, $1.49. I thought I would lot those up. I don't know. I'm going to have to total up maybe. I don't know if people like the brass anymore, but I think it's going to make a comeback. Oh, it's marked. India. Good. Solid brass. That right there is worth at least $2 in scrap anyway. Which I'm not going to scrap them. They're too cute. You don't see the smalls in there very often. There's be big pieces like for $15 and it's too heavy and nobody's going to be covering all that to ship and get it to them. It's not that popular yet. I do think there'll be a market for it later, because it's around, and then as vintage stuff gets harder to find, vintage brass will go up. I just love them. What do y'all think? Can y'all leave me a comment? Do y'all think, I think it's a lot for sure. Leave them as a lot. I don't know. I want to get my money back and make, $10, $12 in cover shipping, so I don't know how much I'll charge. Well, these are the cutest things. They're not vintage, but people like outhouses. I haven't looked up the artist yet. Martha Henson. It's a print. They're very nicely framed. $1.99 each. There was 3 of them. And full moon. A 2-holer. I sold like a book on outhouses one time. They're popular. Heart's Content. Look how pretty that is with the blue morning glories and the heart. So that is cute. Those 3. I thought those were really, really cute. And they'll be in a lot on Etsy. Well, I guess on Etsy, I'm going to have to see if this is 90s or what. And then we went to do a little mudlarking on the Old Town Dump, and they have covered, it's a park, so it's public, and they've covered it with sand, and grass grew over it because it would wash out. I'm not going to show you all the little pieces of glass, but at the edge was this. I just reached down and picked, and it's in a bad part of town too. It's just ridiculous, but and so in research, it's she, I think, came up with this for this company, and it was a 14-year patent. And the one I saw is stackables, like there's 2 stackable. This doesn't turn anymore, obviously. Ooh, I think you can still see the color. Lipstick tube. Look at that. I gotta look at that closer. That's nice. It was full of dirt. Now I can't see. Okay, the edge shows a pretty good color. Let's look at that edge. Hey, that's a bonus. Look at that. It's very heavy. Solid brass. I think this was it doesn't turn. This must have been the part. And, I don't edit my videos because I don't have software on this. This equipment is not my equipment that I use, so I can't download software. But I would have been nice to pull up the picture of the patent. It shows like this would be the bottom, and then another one is stacked on top. So you have 2 lipsticks, so maybe you could take 2 colors wherever you were going. And the next thing we're going to do is I found some Indian pottery. I need to look up about how old this is. I go to this certain place. I have permission on the property because in Texas, or at least around here, you cannot pick up Indian arrowheads, pottery, any kind of relic without permission of the property owner on private property. You cannot go to public property and pick any up. You will be arrested. So you go to private property, and they need to know that you are actually might pick up Indian artifacts. So the way I got this permission, it's a business in town, middle of town. We're in a very old town that was settled in 1721 by Spaniards, which are related to my friend that lives here. She didn't know it until she got here. And they brought a priest and set it up, one of the missions here. And they were here for the Indians, but I think this is older than the Coushatta Indians. I don't know how old this is. It's not an arrowhead, but I love pottery. It's so heavy, utilitarian. This was used, made by the ladies or the men, and used. So this would be used more, than an arrowhead. It's my biggest piece. Anyway, I have permission on the lot, and the way I got that was I just one day was, quote, larking on it, and this guy pulled up and said, hey, I got a call that there's a suspicious person over here on the lot. And he was smiling. I was smiling because I had on a hoodie. It was cold. It's a couple years ago. I said, oh yeah, and I introduced myself. I said, oh, I'm a rock hound. And so he was the manager. We got to talking, and he said, you ever been out there in that blah, 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 and Sam Rayburn? And I said, yeah, but it's illegal out there. And so he said, well, this is a house site of a bunch of houses, and I want you just to get what you want. So I said, thank you. So today I stopped by because we had a real good rain last night, and these were in the same area where I have found, like, it's just one pot that broke, or two, maybe two, because this looks different than this. This is a huge pot. Man, that's nice. And here's a few more pieces from, I'd like to put this, what I've done is, I'm just going to set it all together now. Over the years, it's a little lot in town, and sometimes when we're waiting for the ladies at the thrift store, Olivia and I would go wander over there. And in those years, time after time, you pick things up, and they're about to look like they might be making a parking lot by now out of it. And I know you can't see and everything, but I'll try to. So we have little, I don't even know, I'm not going to go through it all. It's just like, you know, on this trip I got this, on this trip I got that. And some of it I don't know how old it is, because it's anywhere from colonial. I also found a silver hammered, oh gosh, what do you call them, those Spanish coins, 1780 something, which was used by, so that's not that old. This stuff, this art city dates to older than that. Here's a bottle when I first got to the lot. Look at that. That is an old bottle. That was just laying on top, and there was an arrowhead, probably this one, which was just, I was like, what? And the coin. The coin is in my silver. I was like, what? Oh my God. I was like, oh my God. So that was cool. So I kept going back, and there's different arrowheads. This is a broken one, all made out of like a scraper. I think this is the base, and this would have been a point. Very hard to work this. This was starting to be worked. You can see that, very crude. Very hard to work this petrified wood. It's petrified palm wood. I don't know anything about that palm species, but that's what we've got here. Those are probably the best ones. And then we have a lot of this. This is like the archaeologists here in town will have a little thing, but this is colonial plate, very thin. I don't know how old. I think they call it, I don't know what they call it. I've seen it before in the little museums they have. So I've got quite a bit of it. I'll pan over. Flint locks for the flint bam 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 gun. These are flints. They're I think this is a French flint when it's that color. The French came through here too, but you know, it's just everybody needs to look at that one. Dadgum. I couldn't find any of those today, but there's several of them that I think that's more of a handmade. A lot of shotgun shells from the 1900s. This is an old pot. And I have a button. I don't know if it's in here. It's a colonial child's button that I found on that lot. Probably not in here. Just weird stuff like this. Like, I don't know how old that latch is. You know, somebody needs to look at my stuff. Just old. And one piece at a time, but I love the... Here's another. Oh, this is a... That's very thin. Very thin Indian pottery there. That might be newer. You know. I've got to look. I'm going to lift up and let y'all look. Piles and piles of stuff. Try to focus it. just from that one lot. I keep it together. That way if I ever want to let somebody know. Recently I just posted, well, I had a lady from town contact me about a post I put on. My stepdad had a bottle from this, back when the town had a spring and they marketed for y'all come and get healed. And I'm going to talk a minute while I look for that button. Oh, here it is. So glad I found it. It's a tiny, tiny button and we'll quit. Look at that. Gold gilt still on it. I don't think it says anything. It did have words, yes. I mean, I think it's a child's button. It's so small. I just cannot. It's just, it was wonderful to find that. And all of this was with permission, and I'm keeping it together. Anyway, enough yakking. So the lady contacted me because I had posted a long time ago. She said, oh, I see your post, and we're doing a exhibition on that thing, but we don't have a bottle. And I'd like to, can you loan me the bottle? And we ended up, he said, yeah, we'll donate it to y'all. So kind of a back and forth thing, you know. But we donated her the bottle for the city. And when we have that exhibit, maybe I can, you know, do a little thing, video. So now they have that bottle. So I keep things, you know, they have plenty of this stuff. They have archaeology school here at the university, classes that go around digging stuff up. So it's not like I have anything that they had never seen. I would like to know more about it. All right, that's it, y'all. We'll see y'all later. I've got to get into this jewelry box, y'all. I'm going nuts.